You're most welcome. Delighted to welcome into studio Martina Rooney from St. Patrick's School. It's St. Patrick's in Rooney's Meadow. So you own the meadow where it is. And the boss man there, Ciaran, the skipper on the bridge deck. And we have some news for you coming in on it's awful in Sydney this morning, the gunman. Police are refusing to confirm the number of hostages, but it's thought there's no more than, well, up to 30 being held. Large part of the Bank district has been cordoned off. The Prime Minister said it is deeply concerning. And the police say they have identified the gunman. So it's all to play for. We're hearing more by the moment what's going on. If there's anything further before the 10:30 mark at the end of the programme, we will let you know. Now, you had the Minister John O'Dowd with you at St. Patrick's in the Meadow recently, Ciaran, last week. And we captured a little report that we did on it. We look at that first before we come to talk the talk.
St. Patrick's Primary School in the Meadow in Newry hosted an array of political and religious figures on Thursday for the official opening of the new outdoor play area for the nursery unit. Education Minister John O'Dowd performed the official opening of the £27,000 new facility after the blessing by Bishop of Dromore John McAreevy, with Mayor of Newry Dara Hughes in attendance. Minister O'Dowd commended the school principal, governors and all the teaching and non-teaching staff for their ongoing commitment to educating local children in Newry.
This is an investment in the future educational well-being of Newry. Early years education is vital if we are to have our education system to succeed. And the education system is made up of individual pupils. So the young people here today have been given a great head start. They have an opportunity now to fulfil their ambitions, and it's a great advantage for Newry.
Mr. Mackin, school principal, also commended all staff on the achievement of St. Patrick's and thanked the local community for their ongoing support.
Well, I suppose we're moving away from the old adage, chalk and talk. We now see everywhere as a potential learning tool. So the outdoor environment has been underused in most schools, but now we're looking at bringing the learning outdoors where the children can develop. They are encouraged as far as possible to investigate, to look at the outdoors, to look at the creatures that live there, and look at, even in terms of literacy and numeracy, the opportunities that are available outside and not just in the formal school classroom. I'm absolutely delighted now. I think it's part of our 10-year plan, and our next step would be looking at getting involved in the school enhancement programme, because we are probably the oldest school in Newry now, the oldest building. We're over 50 years old, so we want to get involved in the school enhancement programme and extend our school premises to ensure that the environment is fit for purpose.
A successful day for St. Patrick's Primary School, the teaching staff, children and the Newry community, with the children looking forward to exciting times ahead all year round in the new covered outdoor play area, even in the unpredictable Irish weather.
It's Destination Newry. It's the morning programme. We're into our last 15 minutes, and delighted to have with us in studio Ciaran Mackin, the headmaster of St. Patrick's Primary School in the Meadow, and your head of the early days, the nursery, Miss Rooney, Martina Rooney. You're both very welcome. It's nice to see that little clip there of the minister coming down to you. He's a busy man. And he has lots of pressure on him at the moment. How do you manage to pull him in?
Well, I suppose, Ron, yes, he's very busy, particularly last week with the talks in Stormont. But it was a visit that had been planned over a period of maybe 2 or 3 months, because this was an investment that the Department of Education, probably in the region of somewhere £50,000.
This was for your new facility there?
Yes, it's a covered play area at the rear of our nursery. We have a very large nursery campus. We're very proud of our nursery, and it gives us the opportunity to extend the activities that we have in nursery. Yes. So the minister had agreed to come and open it last Thursday, but other events took over, so we had to shorten his visit because he had to return to Stormont. So I suppose it's a bit of a contradiction in that he's opening a new facility at times of austerity when there are lots of challenges facing education.
But even in austere times, they've got to put down shoots for the future, or else we all go like the dinosaurs, we disappear.
Well, that goes without saying, Rowan. I mean, the nursery children, they are the architects of the future. They're the builders, the designers, teachers, doctors, so bricklayers. So certainly it's important that we invest in our future, because if we don't invest it, then I suppose society breaks down.
Martina, they let go of mummy's hand and they take your hand, and you take the youngsters into the nursery section. What age do they come to you at?
Well, most of our children would be around 3 years of age. And they
3 years of
3
age?
years, yes. They turn 4 during the preschool year.
Yeah.
So it can be quite a daunting time for children and for parents.
But you
as
make
they-
it undaunting, if forgive me inventing the word, but you bring them in, and what's the program for them?
Well, we would have a quite successful settling in programme that we follow in our nursery, and we stagger the children in. So we would take a small group of children in at the start, and they would have a very short day for maybe an hour and a half, and we build gradually upon their time, and then we add more children to that mix. So the children aren't being thrown in at the deep end. It is all very individualised and personal to the child. So we work with the child and meet their individual
You see
needs.
them at that very moment of change, metamorphosis from a baby at home to a child in school. Do you sense that they come to you in some trepidation, some worry, and you need to manage that very carefully?
Well, the odd time you'd have some children that it is a very daunting thing to them, but for the most part, the children are really ready. They're ready for school, they're ready to learn, they're just like we sponges, they're just, waiting to experience and explore and investigate, and school is just the right output for them at that particular age.
Wow, that's a lovely concept, isn't it? Spongy waiting, just waiting. I often say, I said to Brian over at the SRC, I'm not so sure of this learning for life thing, because I see children as you describe them, sponges just waiting for education, and I find it harder to do the things mentally and academically that I would have done with grade E's 20 years ago. But I'm going to blow the whistle on you, sir. This is Jack Mackin's son, and I hadn't realised it, Ciaran. Jack was an iconic, wonderful youth leader in this town. He was a man who built so much into the future we have got now, and he died 30 years ago. So it's a great privilege to have you here in your persona as the boss of the school out the road, and also as Jack Mackin's son.
Thank you for those kind words, Ron. I just hope that I can live up to the family name, and that's something that we all aspire to do.
I was saying to you, you do it every day, because at St. Patrick's, you're part and parcel of the moulding of children and sending them forth to be the success that they will be in the future. You're kind of, what would you say is the ethos of St. Patrick's?
Well, I suppose it's a school. It's situated, it's sited in the heart of the community. So it's in the heart of the community, but it has the community at heart as well, and that's very, very important. We would see ourselves as an extension of the home. We are an accredited welcoming school. That's a program that, in fact, was Martina and Laura McCall got involved in 2 years ago. It was funded by
International Fund for Ireland.
Yes, the International Fund for Ireland and the SELB. And basically it was to look at schools and how they are perceived within their own community. I would like to think that we are seen as a welcoming school. We strive as far as possible to ensure that not only are the children welcome and parents, but indeed the extended family. And for me, possibly the highlight of the school calendar is our Grandparents' Day. We have a Grandparents' Day, usually it's the last week in January, and we invite the grandparents in, because we are finding more and more that the grandparents are bringing the children to school as well. Yes, and they have a role to play in the child's development. We also encourage grandparents to come in and talk about the skills, perhaps skills that are no longer with us, jobs that they maybe had been involved in. So I would like to think that St. Patrick's is a school in the heart of the community with the community at heart.
Absolutely. Do you find, as you see these children grow, do you see an identifiable and strong change over the 11 years they're with you or whatever?
Oh, without doubt. Martina talked about the children coming in, and the trepidation that maybe they have. It's also, it can be a stressful time for mums and dads as well. But the interesting thing, we had our nursery performance, our Christmas nativity, 10 days ago now. Friday the 5th. And it's absolutely amazing to see how the children have grown from their first day to taking their place on stage and performing with their peers. So it's, it is an educational journey. We take them along the route. And then when they come to primary 7, when they're 10, 11 years of age, they take their next step. And I suppose it's a case of, there are always twists and turns and bumps along the way on any journey. And really now schools are just facilitating education.
Yes.
We are facilitating lifelong learning. And hopefully we're doing okay at it.
Oh, absolutely. Are you a feeder school for a grammar school in Newry?
We are a feeder school for a number of schools. We are very, very fortunate in Newry to have a number of excellent post-primary schools, both with our 4 grammars and our 2 post-primaries, and we have great working relationships with them.
Yes.
We have also great working relationships with Windsor Hill Primary School, yes, and St. Joseph's Primary School here in Newry.
I'm particularly pleased about, well, I'm obviously pleased about St. Joseph's and all, and the other ones we've mentioned, but Windsor Hill takes us across a certain invisible line, and that's the tradition. The tradition there would be of the Protestant faith, and you would be of the Catholic faith. So there's a togetherness occurring there that's got to be good for the community.
Without doubt. And again, that was just an extension of our Welcome in School, that programme that Martina was involved in. And today we're sitting down, the management of both Windsor Hill and the management of St. Patrick's are sitting down today to look at a future project and how the children can benefit. And we're looking perhaps at maybe having a shared student council, because it's very important now that
student council.
Perhaps it'll be
gracious, yes.
It'll be a mirror image of what's happening in Stormont, maybe like a mandatory coalition. But let's hope let's hope we.
I love this. Is wonderful.
I'm hoping that the children won't be asking for maybe the expenses that some of our MLAs were receiving.
Oh, indeed.
That's another story.
There's no pressure on you from any source to kind of deprioritize Windsor Hill and lean towards the Catholics.
Oh, not at all.
Really?
Not at all. No.
But if that is the case, and it is the case because you say it's the case, that is a hugely significant development in our community.
Well, we'd like to think, that the links will be extended, and that's very important.
Yes,
very important.
Yes. Now, I suppose the other thing is, I beg your pardon, I have a cold. How difficult is it to balance the books in the current climate?
Very, very, very difficult. I think, 3 years ago, believe it or not, we were a primary school with the largest deficit of any primary school in the north of Ireland. So we had a 5-year plan. We have worked to that plan. We have been very fortunate with the staff that we have in our school, who give a lot of extra hours for no compensation, and they have worked hard to reduce our deficit. But it's very difficult to balance the books and at the same time ensure that the children get the opportunities that they deserve.
Absolutely. Well, John, now he was down smiling and shaking your hand and in good form, but is he still a sword of Damocles over your head? Well,
no, in fairness to him, when he visited the nursery, he did say that as far as he was concerned, the education battle or budget had not been resolved, and that he was going back to the table and asking for more money. We used the opportunity with him visiting the nursery to sort of say, listen, we need more investment in education. It's as simple as that. If the education sector continues to be underfunded, then the whole fabric of society will break down.
Absolutely.
And it's very important that we get the investment that we really need. So I would be confident that, certainly from the minister's perspective, that we have confidence in him that he will be fighting our corner, so that people like Martina and the staff in our school know that when they go into a classroom, it will be fully resourced and the children can have the opportunities that they really should have.
We spoke earlier about a mingling of the traditions on the island of Ireland, the Catholics and the Protestants, in your philosophy. Do you find you're getting an input that you're taking children in from our new European neighbours?
Without doubt, we have a large number of newcomer families, and they bring to the table, it's like a rich tapestry, because we are now experiencing other cultures for the first time, and I think that's to be welcomed. Absolutely. It's absolutely fantastic to see come our nursery performance or our early years performances, or indeed our summer show, to see children from different cultural backgrounds participating together. We would like to see possibly more of an investment into a structured program for our newcomer children, because when they arrive here, it's not really, the children come, as Martina said earlier, like a sponge, but it's quite difficult for their parents and their carers arriving in a strange country for the first time. So that if you take a parent-teacher meeting, a parent-teacher meeting can bring with it a number of issues. One of them being where there's a language barrier. So we have a program in school where we've employed a parent engagement coordinator, and his task is to identify parents who, for whatever reason, are not attending parent-teacher meetings, be it language barriers.
And it could be that. It could be that.
It's as simple as that.
Embarrassment of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we need to ensure that those people are catered for. But, you know, I think from the Welcome to Schools, that was something we looked at.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Do you see any signs of, we talk austerity in the last couple of moments of the program. Do you see any signs among the student population, the children who are coming to you, of that austerity at home? Are they lacking anything? Are they, is there a seedbed of poverty behind it in the modern Uri, or are things very optimistic?
Well, I think things are optimistic because of the fabric of the children.
Yeah.
We have to be realistic, and certainly from the financial demands that we would place on our parents and our extended families, we would ensure that there's not major financial pressures. When we look at our educational visits, and they're a very important part of the curriculum as well, but we structure them in such a way that it's not asking for a major financial contribution from the parent. That's very important, because we don't want to exclude, we want to include everybody.
Yes.
So by placing a large cost on a trip, that may exclude. We try as far as possible to ensure that doesn't happen.
I contrast that, and it's lovely. It's the same all over the world. My school's in northwest Nigeria, and I find there that we have to come up with systems to feed them. And the feed is the corn and the guinea corn and the millet that's in the bags that are in the verandas. And the children pay a little amount, a modicum towards that in the course of the year. And the same with their school fees. It's sixpences, it's nothing. But there is the joy of the responsibility being met of doing that, paying your way. And that's hugely good. But it's a joy to meet you in relation to what you're doing there, because the things you've been talking about here are at the heart of a healthy society. And thank you very, very much for coming in. St. Patrick's Rooney's Meadow. It's got a ring to it.
There's a ring to it. Can I just wish all our families and extended St. Patrick's family just a very, very Merry Christmas, and hopefully 2015 will be as successful as 2014 has been, not just for the school, but for everyone involved with the school.
Well, on the basis of what you have said here today, sir, and you, dear lady, it certainly will be that. Thank you for coming in. God love you. Take care.
Thank you very much.
All the best. Happy Christmas. Right, that's us for today. Stay with me to bid the folk farewell. We've been with you since 7:30 this morning. It's the beginning of the week. And back again, God willing, inshallah, alhamdulillah, tomorrow morning at 7:30 again, seeking our usual eclectic mix of music and musings. And we talked about Africa there. We would remind you of the good advice that often comes from across the great river. When you've done your best in the task you've been allocated, and you think you can do no more, and you're worried, leave it alone, lay your head in your hand, and leave the rest to the God you believe in. Take care. All the best. Thanks for coming in.